going to the gym, it's not my thing. If that is something to where you realize that you've tried multiple times of going to the gym and it just doesn't seem to work, in today's video, I'm going to go over things that has really helped me stay consistent in creating my own ideal workout routine and what you could do of creating your own. One thing that really helped me is taking longer walks to my destination. One thing that I just found myself doing was getting off a couple of stops early on the train and then walking, or walking to a further train station, finding different routes to get home and then walking longer distances back to my house. Just finding different ways of just getting more steps in. You're not having to go and change out your clothes and then go outside for a walk. You're not having to go upstairs and then motivate yourself to then leave your house again to then do a workout. You're already outside. You're just now making getting to any destination spot a little bit further out for you to go to. So I found this really helpful just because, number one, it exposes you to a lot more that's around you that you wouldn't necessarily see because you're so used to autopilot of going to the same type of location and going the same route. One thing that I do now since I live in Florida is we'll just find different parks to walk to, but because Florida's heat is a different level during certain months of the year, one thing that I end up doing is just going out at nighttime and just doing a long walk up and down our boulevard, because that will easily get your body into the habit of doing movement without necessarily overwhelming yourself with a whole new task. One thing that I really enjoy is working out alone in my apartment. That is just something that I realized works for me. And it's funny because I have a friend who enjoys going to classes and doing her workouts with people. And I'm the type of person where I prefer working out alone just in case I know if I cannot do a certain move, there's no one around to judge in their head of me needing to take a quick second before I continue going. One thing when I was in the beginning of trying to do a workout and create my workout routine, I was all over the place and I really wasn't able to stay consistent because I didn't really know what to actually do and what to actually focus on. So one thing that I just started doing was like 10 to 15 minute yoga. I found this helpful just because I'm not challenging myself severely, but I am challenging myself. Then I started doing workouts with weights, and then now I'm trying to implement Pilates. But when you start your workout routine at home, another thing you could do is just start with like the least amount of resistance. Before you try to do all that of upper body one day, lower body the next day, abs the next day, butt and glutes the next day, just focus on creating the routine first of doing the workouts, because when you try to overwhelm yourself of creating the whole outline, then you're just going to become overwhelmed of what videos to actually pay attention to and to watch. So for me, one thing I just did is focus on doing like 20-minute HIIT workouts without weights, and I would do 25-minute workouts without weights, and I would do 20 minutes with weights. I just stayed and just slowly implemented a little bit more of a challenge as the weeks progressed. And then I started creating what day to do this workout, what day to do this workout. And another thing that is really helpful is creating a YouTube playlist. So every morning I would just try to look for what video I was in the mood for, and I started to realize that it would take up way too much time. So one thing that I started to do was create like a workout playlist, so that way once I was like waking up to do my workouts, I'll just go to that playlist and then pick which workout I was going to do for that day, because it automatically reduces the you having to make a decision, because I forgot like how many decisions we make in a day, and it just makes it easier on the brain of not having to now like focus on like what should I pick, what should I work out on, what should I do. You'll already have a little mini playlist of what you want to select, and then you'll start your workouts. So I do want to share the workout equipment that I do have in my house. I don't have a lot. I don't feel like I have a lot, but I want to share the workout equipment that I do have and when I do use them. So these are the first weights that I got. I got a 3-pound, 5-pound, and 8-pound. It was like a set off of Amazon. And I like them because I literally started with the 3-pound first, and then now I mainly use the 8-pound. So this is a really good set for beginner. Like, it doesn't take up space at all. It goes right in the corner of this wall right here. And I recently got this yoga block from Five Below.
to do some of my yoga and Pilates workouts. So I just got one block and have another set of 5 pounds in the back, just because when I was traveling with Kevin for his job, I didn't have my set with me. I also recently got these resistance bands from Five Below as well. It's a light, medium, and heavy resistance bands. I haven't used them yet. My goal is to use them for my workouts, but because there's been a lot of videos that I want to do using resistance bands, I ended up just getting them from Five Below. So you don't really need much in the beginning to get started. You could literally just have like this little set right here and just start your workouts with that. And the other thing that I have, of course, is a workout mat. Recently, I've also been getting into kettlebells. And so I originally only had one kettlebell. I ended up just getting another one recently as well from Five Below. So the resistance bands and the yoga block all came from Five Below very recently. But I have this 8-pound weight that I use for my kettlebell workouts and this 25-pound weight that I use for my lower body. I think I got this one off of Amazon as well. I also have a set of 15-pound weights that I also use for my lower body. That is also where my bookshelf is. Another helpful thing is realizing your ideal workout time. First, trying to start my own workout routine. I kept going after work, and it took me several years to then realize going after work is not ideal for me. Even working from home, it is not ideal for me. I didn't realize until 2020 or 2021 that working out in the morning is much better for me than working out at night. And I realized that because every single time when I would try to work out after work, it will cause like I would have to have a pep talk with myself of like, we're going to do this, it's for our health, it's for the betterment of our future self. And all of that is true. But I just feel like if I have to do that much motivation in my head, then it's not going to last long. Because then eventually I'm just going to have one day where I don't go. And then the next day I'm like, you know what, I'll go tomorrow. Another day I'll go tomorrow. And then I never go back. So one thing that I ended up realizing was I just started waking up a little earlier and then just doing some type of movement in the beginning of my day. And I felt much better. I realized I felt much better when I did that. I think mainly because number one, I got it out the way. Like once I did my workout, I don't have to think about it anymore. Anything that I do now is extra beneficial to my body. But I just got the workout done in the morning and I realized I felt so much better doing that. Another thing was when I would go after work, when I would try to go after work, I not only had to like have a pep talk with myself, I then had to think about more things to plan. So if I was doing my workout after work, then that means I was going to get home later. Then that means I have to figure out what I'm going to eat, how long it's going to take for me to make it. Then if I'm going to bed late because I went to the gym earlier after work, then it becomes more of a overwhelming process for my brain to where I'm like, screw this, we'll figure out something else, and then we never do anything. But when I do it in the morning, because I'm just waking up earlier, the only thing I have to worry about is eating at a specific time before going to bed at night, that night before, and then just making sure I have that allotted time to do my workout so that way I could get to work on time. For me, I do know that if I don't do my workout in the morning, I'm okay with doing it in the afternoon, but it can't be a repetitive cycle because then it interferes with my meals and then I have to figure out how I'm gonna do my meals. And then again, I do the overwhelming process and it just becomes annoying. But the only type of workout I'm okay with doing at night is walking. Anything else, I really don't care for. So one thing that I do highly suggest is finding your ideal workout time. Play around with doing 1 week in the morning, another week doing one in the afternoon, whichever one works for you. If you realize that you tend to enjoy your workouts at this time more than the other two, then that may be your preferred workout time. One thing that I have realized is like when I do 20 to 25 minute workouts, it's much easier for me to stay consistent throughout the week because number one, I know I could do 20, 25 minutes. Like, yeah, it's a push sometimes, but I know that I could at least dedicate 20 to 25 minutes out of 24 hours in a day to do some type of workout. Number two, I feel like it is beneficial and helpful for my body. I feel like if I have those days where I want to push myself, then I'll do a 30, 35 minute one. But lately I haven't been having that type of push or feeling to do a 30, 35 minute one. But a 20, 25 minute one, I feel like that gives me enough time to actually work on like getting the results that I wanted, because I feel like anytime when I've pushed myself further than that, I feel like I've gone backwards with results, because then I'm spending 3-4 days in recovery and then I'm not doing anything. So when it comes to starting your routine, I think starting with like 10 minutes, it may not feel like a lot, it may not feel like you're doing much, but the goal is to get your body used to some type of movement. Like, I get it. You probably want to go all in, go all out, and be like, no, this is the new you, this is the new me, this is what we're going to do. And that's great. But to me, I feel like anything where I've been able to stay consistent with it is when I just focus on making the tiniest change to where my body knows something different is happening, but it doesn't feel extremely overwhelmed by it. It's more like, we're doing this now. What is this? Okay. Let's see where you're going with this. I could do this. Like, that's what my internal dialogue is saying, as opposed to me waking up one day and being like, we're going to do a 30-minute workout. And then my body's like, screw you, fuck you. Why did you do that? We're not doing that again. And so I think it's working with yourself. I think a lot of it is working with yourself, of being like, okay, let's just start with 10 minutes, do that, and then work our way up. Because when you get your body used to something in the beginning, and it's just like the minimum effort of like walking further to a train station or doing a 10-minute yoga, it's your body's way of introducing something new but not feeling overwhelmed by it, so where when you do stop after doing it for an extended period of time, your body's like, hey, what's going on here? And then you start doing it again. So that's how I've been able to really stay consistent with it. It's just like starting with the tiniest step. But I don't really do 40-minute workouts anymore, just because I feel like it is way overwhelming for my body. I don't know if height has to do with anything. I'm 4'11", so I don't really know if that has to do with anything, but I just realized any time where I go above 35 minutes, my body's just like, no. If I do want to do something to where I'm doing extended workout, I'll just do walking. So the most I'll ever do of like a HIIT workout or a strength workout is like 20, 25 minutes, and maybe 30 if I'm feeling it. But anything, if I want to do some more type of movement, I'll just simply go on a walk. I don't really do running anymore, because after I did running one time in sprints, I have heard that sprints is really helpful when it comes to like building and toning your body. But one time I did a sprint workout because I was really irritated and angry that day, so I just like sprinted. But then my leg just was in pain for the next 3 years. So I don't know if turning 30 had to do with it, but ever since I turned 30, I'm much more cautious with things. I'm much more cautious. So my next one is something that I recently started implementing, and I think it was like the greatest investment that I ever did, and it is getting a walking pad. I say this specifically for those who work remote. Getting a walking pad is probably like the best game changer that I ever did, because the only reason why I ended up getting the walking pad was because it was just too hot to go outside. Like I enjoy Florida. I love my trees. I love the nature. I love like living here. But what I don't like is the heat. And I'm not going to be standing outside walking in some 90-degree, 95-degree weather. I'm not doing it. And I found myself staying in a lot more. And then when it did come time to do my walks, either I would end up waiting too late, and then it's too dark, and then now I'm like trying to figure out like do I just do the workout the next day, or figure out if I want to do a different type of workout. So one thing that I decided to invest in was getting a walking pad, and I like to use it throughout my day. So sometimes I'll use it when I'm working, but I mainly use it like if I'm watching a show, or I'll use it after I finish eating, and I'll just split it up of 20 minutes on the walking pad here,
there, 20 minutes on walking on the walking pad at night. And it is thoroughly helpful, just because we don't live in the city anymore. I get bored like just doing the same up and down walks all day. So it gives me like a little relief of not having to go outside if I don't want to go outside, or if it's raining every day, because that was another thing. It kept raining so much that we couldn't go outside to do the walks. And I'm like, I'm staying in way too much and I'm really sedentary, especially working remote. This is not going to be beneficial for me in the future. So one thing that I was starting to do is use the walking pad throughout the day. And I really like it because, number one, it doesn't take up too much space. It's pretty light. It's not super heavy. And it really does get the job done. I feel like having this walking pad has been so beneficial because I don't have to wait until the end of my day to do like a major long walk. I can now split up my walks like I would if I was going to work. So if you're someone who especially like has a job where you're sitting down a lot, one thing that is really helpful is getting a walking pad. And I have an adjustable desk because it was so funny. The reason why I bought the adjustable desk is to not sit down all day, but I rarely ever use the adjustable desk. But now I actually do for when I do my walk. So definitely highly suggest the walking pad. That has been something that has really helped with my weight staying like the way that I want it without like overexerting myself. So when it comes to even building a workout routine, another thing that really helped me was prioritizing the foods that I was eating. What I did notice is if I ate like a lot of heavy foods, a lot of greasy foods, fast food, then I would have less energy to actually want to work out. Like it would cause so much more effort for me to actually get up and do a workout. But if I ate a lot of nutrient-rich foods, then I had no choice but to work out because I had all this energy to actually burn off. So one thing that really does help in your favor is prioritizing the foods that you are eating. One thing I do want to say is that although going vegan at that time was beneficial for me losing weight, I say just focusing on whole foods and natural foods. I think if you just start there, as opposed to like, do you go keto, vegetarian, plant-based, paleo. Personally speaking, I'm no nutritionist or dietitian, but I honestly say if you just focus on whole foods primarily and reduce your fast food intake, reduce your processed food intake, I honestly feel like you'll most likely have energy to do like little mini workouts and not having to find yourself going to the gym and then trying to work off 500 calories. I think if you just prioritize the foods that you're eating and eating more natural whole foods, it then gives you the energy to actually do some type of movement or exercise throughout the day. That's one thing that honestly I think worked in my benefit of when I started to eat more natural and whole foods. It then gave me energy to work out. It felt like I had no choice because I was just sitting on fuel. So I do want to preference that as well when it comes to creating your workout routine, especially in the beginning, especially when you're someone who doesn't really care for the gym. Is one thing is prioritizing and focusing and looking at the foods that you're eating and asking yourself, is this food giving you more fuel or is it giving you more of that itis type of feeling? And the last one, if you want to get out the house and you don't want to get a walking pad, one thing that I highly do suggest is looking up different workout classes to try. So I really like trying new classes. So one thing that I did back when I was in the city was I was trying all different types of classes, and I did this specifically after I finally gave up on the whole gym idea. So I was trying a fabric class. I think it's like fabric something class. Then I tried the wheel one or circle one. I've tried rock climbing, which I really enjoyed. I went with my sister and my mom to that, and we had like a Groupon where it was like a certain amount of classes and we would do rock climbing, which I found really fun. I did a kickboxing thing that I found on Groupon. They have like this New York City workout classes that I went to, a couple by myself and then a couple with a couple of my colleagues. Oh, and then I did a regular boxing one. The boxing one was the one I enjoyed the most. Like if I could find like a boxing, like an authentic like boxing ring that I could do, I would definitely do that because I really enjoy that. But really play around with like different classes to try, because you may not necessarily like the gym and you may enjoy working out at home, but if you want like some type of interaction with other people, people, but not necessarily, again, wanting to go to the gym. Maybe you're someone who really enjoys different types of workout classes, but trying to figure out the workout class that works for you, because it's a workout, but it doesn't necessarily feel like one. It feels like more of like a new activity that you're taking on. So if you're not someone who really necessarily enjoys the gym, it's instead finding different types of workouts that work for you, that don't feel like too much of a chore. And these are things that has really helped me of like creating a workout routine and staying consistent with it and actually enjoying it in the process. So I hope this video was helpful to you guys. Definitely let me know which one you are planning on trying and feeling like you could actually stay consistent with. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.